Good morning and thank you for joining us. My name is Amani Maranga. I'm a podcaster, I'm a communicator, and I'm very fortunate to have with me Dr. Mzalendo Kibunjia, who of the National Museums of Kenya. And today what we hope to do with you and with this series of talks is to explain how the different state agencies and the different departments of the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage what they will be doing to make sure that this 100 million that the president gave to the artists, musicians and actors how it will be disseminated. Each of these state semi-autonomous government agencies has been given a specific mandate to a specific type of artists. And my job today is just to help us understand what that is. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to have a man who I've learned is an anthropologist. Dr. Kibunjia, please just introduce yourself to us. I mean, who are you? Kenyans might not have met you before.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Mzalendo Kibunjia. My background, I am an anthropologist. I have a PhD in anthropology from the State University of New Jersey. And currently, I am the Director General of the National Museums of Kenya. But previously, I was the chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission in the country for about 4 years. But now, I take care of the memory of this nation.
Dr. Kibunjia, you say you take care of the memory of this nation. Where is the memory of this nation placed? Tell us in this
the memory of this nation is installed at the National Museums of Kenya. And the memory of these nations include things like fossils, these which tell our story. They include creation done by artists like you. We're talking about murals, we're talking about sculptures, we're talking about photographs, we are talking about everything you can think that can be created by human mind. Our national mandate is to collect what we think is very important for this country, whether that thing is technological, is of historical value, is of paleontological, archaeological, all historical value, and keep this for the future generations that will see what Kenyans were doing in 2020 and beyond.
Wow. And this is an interesting time because the country is in an unprecedented space. We are going through isolation and a quarantine period. You know, what do you imagine the memory of the nation would be at a time like this?
Very good. That's a good question. I'm sure many of you have seen reference to Spanish flu in 1918. Yeah. Those images that you see today is what we'll probably be seeing 100 years from now on what the coronavirus 19 pandemic caused in this country. So we are even now collecting memorabilia, including masks, including photographs, including jokes about this pandemic, that we hope we can put a very huge exhibition in the National Museums of Kenya countrywide for you to see how Kenyan coped with this pandemic that is ravaging the whole world.
And I must say my mask is in my pocket and his is here, but for the sake of this interview, we needed to get our masks off. Let me go straight to our conversation today.
Yes.
Because about a month ago, the president gave 100 million from the sports fund, and in his executive order, he said to musicians, to actors, and to artists.
Yes.
I think my question is, what's the interest of the National Museums of Kenya in this matter?
Our interest on this matter is the fact that National Museums of Kenya, which is, by the way, it's a very old institution. We are 110 years old today. Oh, wow. We are not yesterday. We are older than Kenya, by the way, the Republic of Kenya.
As a republic.
As a republic. Yes. And what we have been doing over the years is to try and promote and encourage and create networks of artists. For example, if you take the Kenya National Association of Visual Artists, we were responsible of creating that association, which has branches countrywide. We helped that. If you think about Sarakasi, which is a play and a theater group, that was started in the National Museums of Kenya. If you think about Kuona Trust, which is one of the big artists groups or association in this country that was started in National Museums of Kenya. But much more important is that we've been involved in a number of consultancies that involve artists. One of them is Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. If you go in the new terminal, you will see murals, you will see pieces of art, you see all sorts of images that were done by national artists. What we do is when we are doing these kind of contracts, we get artists to bid for those contracts. And then we're able to select them and then give them the work. And I'm sure if you go to Jomo Kenyatta and see those murals, you'll be very proud of what Kenyan artists have done through the National Museums of Kenya.
So basically, the National Museums has curated this art.
We have curated this art, but we're also involved in its making.
Exactly. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that there's a category of artists that fall under the National Museums of Kenya that will benefit from this 100 million.
That's right. And that's why among the many categories of artists that are available in this country, we have chosen to look at the visual artists. These are people who do murals, because these are the ones that we have done. If you go to the National Museums of Kenya, for example, you see dioramas, those images of environment, of the past civilization, the first communities, done by Kenyan artists, and these are the people that we're very comfortable working with because we have worked with them in many other projects, including the Judiciary Museum and the Supreme Court building. We have worked with these people, and we know them, and we understand how they are organized.
So you're saying visual artists are people who create art that is visual?
Absolutely, yes.
And you said, I heard you mention photography.
Yes.
So photographers are part of your...
We will also look at those categories.
You look at those categories?
Yes, because sometimes you can paint a mural from a photograph.
Yes.
You can also paint a mural from your own imagination.
Yes.
So that's why we need to include all these categories
Sculptors.
of people. Sculptures also, those are there, but I'm sure there will be other departments in the State Department that will be talking about how that category of people will be involved with. Yes.
So if I wanted to know whether I fall in the category of the visual artists, I'm sure there's some communication that you'll put out.
Yes, we will, and that will be available also on our website. But I also encourage you to go to the National Visual Artists Association of Kenya. I think those people will also be able to know whether you fall on that category or not, because we want to work very closely with them to make sure that we deliver this presidential directive on a artist stimulus package. All
right, let's talk about that. Let's just go straight to the package. So, I'm just interpreting what you're saying, but you're saying that you have these visual artists.
Yes.
They are already formed in an association of sorts, and you're saying you're going to work with this association of these artists.
Yes.
What is the call out? How is the work for pay model going to work for them?
If I can expound on that a bit, because I have all the documentation here, is that we're going to look at all the 8 regions, the former provinces of this country. And then we look at artists from those regions, about 450 of them around the country, and we create 39 murals. 39 murals. 39 murals. And not a mural is not created by one person. Sometimes you have more, sometimes you're many. And we will have these murals either in all the spaces that are there, whether it's a wall that's visible to the public, whether it's vehicles, for example, moving with these messages. And then this group of 450 artists will be given this stimulus package for them to be able to create these models around the country. But we have also another criteria in this particular aspect, where we are looking at what we call vulnerable artists. We are looking at people who are in informal settlements. People who do these things in terms of doing them in places like Kibera, for example, places like in Dandora, to reach those people that are not well established, but they are very good, and we're trying to nurture talent. Because we would want, as part of this stimulant package, we don't want someone who had started doing some of this work to fade because of this pandemic. We want to be able to nurture this talent and be able to bring it up so that it can be there tomorrow and the day after as we go over the pandemic.
Talk to me about, I don't know if you know about the membership of the associations.
Yes.
But I think from a policy perspective, talk to me about the people living with disabilities and other special interest groups. How, what are you putting in place to ensure that those are taken care of?
We because of our presence countrywide,
yes.
I mean, you can go to most part of this country, our museum or our monuments, and our coverage for the country is huge. So we want to look not only at artists in marginalized, in informal settlement, yes. but also marginalized communities. Okay. That's why in the presser yesterday I was saying we would even have artists from Mandera. Sometimes when you're thinking about artists, you don't imagine that a place like Pate Island in Lamu can have a visual artist. But these are the people that we want to work with so that we bring them, including peoples with disabilities. So we'll be looking at that, and we have spoken with our partners who are working with to make sure that they go out of their way to identify these vulnerable people, these marginalized people, and these people with disabilities to make sure that they benefit as part of this stimulus package for them.
I heard you mention a number which was 450.
Yes.
Tell me, how many artists under the visual arts umbrella do you think the National Museum will be able to reach?
If I can do a breakdown, which I have here, for Nairobi, particularly looking at all, we're going to look at 150 artists.
Okay.
For Coast, we'll look at 60.
Okay.
For Rift Valley, we'll also look at 60 of them. Nyanza, 50. Western Kenya, 40. Central Kenya, 40. Eastern, 30. And Northeastern, 20. That is the way we have distributed those artists around the country to make sure that the whole country is covered.
All right. Tell me about let's talk about value addition.
Yes.
The stimulus package will give, because of the total number of people, I mean, 20,000 people is a lot of people.
Yes.
And so you don't expect it to be a lot of money, trickling down per person.
Yes.
But then, I imagine that if it's a stimulus package, a small work of art could earn certain amount of value after it's been created. What's the role of the museum to create value addition for this artist?
My suggestion, and this is what I want all the artists to know, that when you are given this stimulus package, think about this creation that you have done, this piece of art, being valuable 50 years from now, 40 years from now, 100 years from now. That when the National Museums of New York will be trying to do an exhibition of 100 years ago during the coronavirus pandemic, they will see your piece as the most important. They will see your piece as depicting what actually happened during the pandemic 50, 30 years ago. So don't see it as, I just want money and create something for it and then that's it. Think about how this piece can be sold in the many exhibitions that we'll be doing. We have at the National Museums of Kenya, every year, the Kenya Museum Society and ourselves have an art show that we do, where artists are able to come and sell these properties. Think about if we give you 5,000 shillings to buy the materials for whatever mural you're creating, and then you find out that a year down the road or 20 years down the road, it is worth 2 million. You have made it. So, my dear friend, our colleagues, our friends, when you get this stimulus package, do your best and see it as something that can earn you more money than what you are getting from the stimulus package. And we will be giving opportunities to you to be able to come and exhibit and show some of this work that you have done as a result of the His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta stimulus package to artists in the country during the pandemic period.
You've actually anticipated my next question because I was going to ask, are you going to create a space or a showcase for this work? And is it possible to do that maybe after the 3 months of this stimulus program?
Absolutely. I want to assure all the artists we will be working with, and even the others, that our spaces countrywide will be available for showcasing these materials once the pandemic is gone. And We do it for free. We don't even charge you for it. You'll be able to come and showcase these materials, and you'll find buyers, I'm sure, or people who want to keep this memorabilia in their houses and the institutions.
So, for the fear of sounding like a broken record, what do you have in place? What systems do you have in place to ensure that the artwork and the murals are actually done, that people don't take this money and then they go buy unga and that's it?
I think we are watertight as far as that is concerned, because these groups, we are not working alone. We are not going, for example, to Kibera and say, hey, do you know how to paint? Come and paint. We'll give you money. We're working through systems. We're working through networks that we have. And these networks, I think they are people who have integrity, who know these people, who will be able to check. For example, now, as I say, if we work through the National Association of Visual Artists of Kenya, they would be able to see, to supervise, to help us supervise these works as they are being created. So that, because they are network, they are all over the country. And of course, for me, when you call an artist, is someone who wants a living out of art. You don't want to cut your livelihood for sake of 1,000, 2,000, or whatever thousand money that you be given. You want, now that someone has come on your doorstep, you want to create something that will be able to help you in the future. You want to use this investment to create a name for yourself and to create something that can earn your livelihood. So I am not worried about misuse of this money. I'm not worried about identification of these artists. I'm not worried about the delivery of these pieces, because we have done it before. I don't think that the experience we have gained working with these artists countrywide is something that can go to waste.
Allow me to play the devil's advocate just for a second. Though I don't think the devil needs an advocate. There might be some artists that are not under the association yet. Have not been registered yet. And yesterday we had the CS talking about the need to register these artists. What is the opportunity for some of these artists, either for inclusion or for them to be part of their local associations? What's the opportunity in this?
I think the opportunity that's there is what the Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed said yesterday, that we are going now to encourage everybody who are not registered to do so in the next 3 months, to make sure that they are part of it. And I would also think that we will work with our partner to find out what impediments or what are the obstacles for people registering the association are. If it's an issue of the fee, the registration fee, maybe they consider waiving it for the 3 months and get more people getting in. And I think that is what was being said yesterday, that we're encouraging everybody now to find association or professional groups that deals with the kind of work that you do and become registered. It's very difficult as a government, as you say, to work with individuals. I think that is what this is all about, that we cannot, because, you know, like I tell people, you want to hire an engineer. If this engineer messes, where will you go and report this engineer? You want to hire an accountant. If this accountant messes, where will you report? That's why even in government, when we hire engineers, the first thing we ask you, are you registered with the Engineer Corps of Kenya? Are you registered with the accountancy firm? So maybe this is something that we never thought about it before. But I think for now, this is an opportunity now to realize that there is safety in numbers, they say. But when you are alone, it becomes very difficult unless you are very well established person, which sometimes it doesn't happen. So what I could say is, please go and register yourself with the groups that do the kind of work that you do, because there's a better chance of you to access many other services, not only the stimulus package, but many other opportunities that are given to registered groups.
So yesterday the launch happened. Thank you for that. Yesterday the launch happened. What is your timeline in terms of when you think the NMK will be rolling out, the call to artists? Like, when do you start your own communication?
Well, we even when we started thinking about this, we already started working with our partners on the ground. So this is not something that we have. Yesterday was just a formal launch. I think this is a conversation that we have had because even before we arrived, how many murals we do, how many artists will be involved. This is a conversation that we will be having. But as soon as the government processes are over and this money is released to the institutions that are coordinating different aspects of artists and other things, we will be ready to roll ourselves. Okay. I know, for example, in some of the informal settlements, there are people who are already doing this. They are doing it. We can see some of them. They are doing it on their own volition. Now government is coming in and saying, look, we can help you to buy the materials you need to do this kind of thing. We are not saying we are the one who will start doing it. We think work is going on, but now there is a stimulus for you to be able to do some of that. I think, I remember there was a mention that there are people who probably have been doing this work, and we should not forget about them. We should find a way of also incorporating them in everything that we do. So we are ready to move. We are waiting for the stimulus package to be released. As soon as it's released by the government, we will be able to move on.
Tell me, what's so as an organization, maybe we are a smaller organization somewhere in Mashinani, and we've gotten in touch with our local, outfits. Where do we channel our request? Like, is there an email address? Is there a person that we can talk to?
I think now after the launch, the formal launch yesterday, yes, and the people should now know which institutions are coordinating this aspect, yeah, and as soon as possible, including today, we'll be able to give an email address where you can be able to tell us what association you are, and also where we'll put all the details of how we will carry this work. And okay, I think we're very cognizant of what the Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed said yesterday, that transparency and integrity is key to this process, because this is the first time it has ever happened in the country, and if, as government institutions, mess it up, it may have a very deep repercussions on how government help creative industry in this country. So we are determined as an institution to make sure that everything is okay, everything is done in a way that it can be audited for people to look at, and to make sure that we include everybody who is eligible for it within the criteria that we have set as an institution. Again, as a National Museums of Kenya, we're only doing with one aspect of creative industry. We're not doing everything, and in subsequent days, you will hear heads of those departments coming here and telling you the aspect that they are coordinating and how that will be done. But for us, we will be putting up in our website, which is www.museums@or.ke, which will tell you how this will be done.
So it's www.museums.or.ke.
Okay. Yes.
So, and he's right, in the next 4 days, we will be interviewing ahead of a different department. Tomorrow we'll be doing the Kenya Cultural Center, who is our host for this interview today, and they'll be talking about how they'll be dealing with the actors.
Yes.
Bwana Kibunjia, I want to give you an opportunity.
Yes.
To inspire.
Yes.
Visual artists.
Yes.
I want to give you an opportunity to inspire young people, yes, across the country that think this is not for them, yes, that think that maybe this opportunity might pass them over. Yes. If you look at that camera and, yes, you had the opportunity to speak to the hearts and minds of these young people, yes, what would you tell them?
What I want to tell them is that visual art is something you can become rich with. It's something that can change your life. You don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to be an accountant. You don't have to be a politician. You don't have to be anything else, but you can concentrate on this talent you have and make your life better. If you have a talent, nurture it. If you know you are good at this, don't give up. If you know you're good, talk to the institutions that represent that talent you have, and you'll be shocked to find out what you become. because there are many, many people in the world today. You hear how a Picasso painting, how whatever painting is now being sold for millions of dollars. That can be you. It doesn't have to be someone else who is well established. Even you who is starting, I want you to think about it and to concentrate on it and be the best that you can. You can earn a living. You can be a rich man or woman by painting, by doing murals, by doing artwork.
Fantastic. And I will give you one last parting shot.
Yes.
As your commitment to these young people and to the Republic of Kenya,
yes,
in terms of what is your commitment to them in this stimulus package?
My commitment to you as an artist is all the spaces that the National Museums of Kenya has in this country will be available to you. So don't ask, if I do this painting, if I do this sculpture, if I do this, where do I take it? Come talk to the National Museums of Kenya. We will be able to advise you and we will be able to give spaces. For example, you can think about Fort Jesus in Mombasa. It's an historical monument, but we provide spaces for artwork, for people to come. We have, every time we have exhibitions at the National Museums of Kenya, and people buy these artwork at the National Museum. We have spaces. We have a Nairobi Gallery here on Kenyatta Avenue and Uhuru Highway. That's a space you can use. We have National Museums of Kenya Gallery in Nairobi. That's a space you can use. We have spaces in Kisumu, the Kisumu Museum. That's available. Come. We will give you that spaces. Talk to us. We are there for you. We are paid by government of Kenya taxes. This is for you. It's not for us as an institution. So we have also many other opportunities that we have a lot of contracts in this country, building museums in different places, doing art galleries in this country. That space can be for you if you are good at what you are doing.
All right, so you've heard it from Dr. Mzalendo Kibunjia. He has said that visual artists are who the National Museums of Kenya will be working with. They have said that they will partner with the associations of visual artists across the country in all the 8 regions. There's an output that you have, I think, 39 murals.
That's right.
39 murals,
yes,
that will be done across the country. And he has made a commitment that whatever visual arts you put out, they will make space available for you to exhibit your work and even sell it if it finds a buyer. Thank you so much, Daktari. Thank you for your time and for your commitment. Yes. We, the young people of this country, are looking at you,
yes,
and looking to see that you play your part, and we will hold you accountable.
We are ready for you
in playing your part.
Yes.
But we are also grateful,
yes,
that you have agreed to take up this mantle and that you have a plan, yes, for us across the country.
Yes.
We look forward to seeing the output and the showcase,
yes,
after the 3 months are done.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
All right, God bless you.
God bless
All right, and that's it. We're out tomorrow. We interview the Kenya Cultural Center acting CEO, Dr. Mike Pundo, right here at the Kenya Cultural Center, actually. Thank you very much.